There was a time when anger seemed to be a permanent companion. It would flare up at the smallest provocation, a careless comment, a missed opportunity, the sting of injustice. The world felt unfair, and rage bubbled up in response, a force both exhilarating and destructive. But what if anger, instead of being a poison, could be transformed into a source of power? Imagine a young man named Min, living in a bustling city, striving to make his mark. Min was bright, full of ambition, but easily frustrated. Every morning, he faced the chaos of traffic, the impatience of strangers, the pressure of deadlines. In meetings, when his ideas were overlooked, he clenched his fists beneath the table. At home, when misunderstandings arose, words would fly, sharp and unforgiving. Min saw anger as a shield, protecting his pride, asserting his worth. But the shield began to weigh him down. One day, Min received news that stung deeper than usual. A project he had poured months of effort into was given to someone else. The decision felt personal, and the injustice consumed him. He stormed out of the office, his mind racing with resentment. Why was he always overlooked? Why did others get what he deserved? That night, Min's anger simmered into exhaustion. He sat alone, replaying the events, feeling powerless. But in that silence, a question arose. What if anger could be more than a reaction? What if it could be a catalyst for change? Determined not to let anger destroy him, Min began to examine its origins. He realized that anger often hides deeper emotions: pain, disappointment, fear. Instead of getting angry, he started to write down his thoughts, turning frustration into words. Journaling did not erase the pain, but it revealed patterns. Min noticed that his anger was often related to unmet expectations, to moments when he felt invisible. The next morning, Min returned to work with a new determination. He sought feedback, learned areas for improvement, and volunteered for difficult tasks. He used the energy from his frustration to drive himself forward, learn, and adapt. Instead of blaming others, he focused on the things he could control. It wasn't easy. There were moments when anger threatened to overwhelm. But each time, Min reminded himself, anger is an energy. I can choose how to use it. Slowly, Min's relationships began to shift. At home, he listened more, spoke less. He apologized when he lashed out and forgave when hurt. He realized that holding on to resentment was like carrying a heavy stone. It only weighed him down. Letting go didn't mean forgetting or accepting injustice. It meant freeing himself to move forward. One day, an old colleague approached Min. They had once clashed over a project, words exchanged in anger. The colleague apologized, and Min, remembering his journey, forgave. The moment felt like a release, a letting go of old wounds, an opening to new possibilities. The anger that once separated them now became a bridge for understanding. Min's story is not unique. Throughout history, anger has sparked revolutions, fueled creativity, ignited change. But unchecked, it can consume, destroy, isolate. The secret lies in harnessing its energy, channeling it into action, growth, and compassion. When anger arises, it is a signal. Something needs attention. Something feels wrong. Instead of suppressing it or exploding, pause. Ask, what is this anger telling me? How can I use its energy constructively? Maybe it's a sign to stand up for yourself, to set boundaries, to fight for justice. Maybe it's an invitation to heal, to forgive, to let go. Transforming anger begins with self-awareness, the courage to face your emotions honestly, to dig beneath the surface. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is the ultimate act of strength. When you forgive, you reclaim your power. You refuse to let anger dictate your actions, your relationships, your future. You choose freedom over bitterness, growth over stagnation. The journey from anger to forgiveness is a journey of transformation. It requires vulnerability, reflection, and resilience. It means accepting your imperfections and those of others. It means committing to growth, even when the path is difficult. Think of the greatest leaders, artists, and changemakers. Many began with anger against injustice, inequality, suffering. But they did not let rage destroy them. They used its fire to light the way, to inspire change, to build bridges. Your anger can be a teacher. Listen to it. Let it guide you toward what matters. Channel its energy into your passions, your dreams, your purpose. When you feel anger rising, take a moment, breathe deeply. Ask yourself, what do I want to create from this energy? How can I grow from this experience? Transform your anger into empathy. Choose to understand rather than judge. Forgive not for others, but for yourself, for your peace, your freedom, your growth. Min's story is a reminder. You are not defined by your anger. You are defined by what you do with it. Use it as fuel, not fire. Let it propel you toward your goals, your relationships, your best self. The next time you feel the surge of anger, remember Min. Remember the power within you to transform rage into resilience, resentment into forgiveness, fury into growth. Your journey is your own, but you are never alone. Every person who has ever struggled with anger has faced the same choice: destruction or transformation. Choose transformation. Let your anger become energy. Let your wounds become wisdom. Let your pain become power. Forgive, grow, and inspire. The world needs your strength, your compassion, your courage. Your story can light the way for others, just as Min's did. From anger to forgiveness and growth, the journey is not easy, but it is worth every step. Embrace your emotions, harness your energy, and become the hero of your own story.